Practice 8 for section 7.6, we're going to find the sine of angle R and the sine of angle S. We're going to write each answer as a fraction and as a decimal, round to 4 decimal places if necessary. I really only care about the fraction. We'll do the decimal as well, but if you know how to do the fraction, that's all I'm really worried about right now. We want to find the sine of angle R. Remember how sine is defined. SOHCAHTOA tells you that sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So if you're looking at angle R, the opposite leg is 8 and the hypotenuse is 10. So sine of angle R is 8 over 10. Now, one thing I would like to focus on is just reducing that fraction. It's obviously 8 over 10. Those are the two numbers involved. 8/10 is 4/5. So as a decimal, 8/10 is obviously 0.8. If you're going to round to 4 decimal places, that's what you would do. Sine of angle S changes some things because now your opposite leg is the 6, but your hypotenuse is still 10. So sine of S equals 6 over 10, which is 3/5. 6/10 is 0.6 with 3 zeros. I'm worried about these fractions. That's all you're doing on all of these. So one thing to point out, when you're using sine, the similarities between these two is the hypotenuse is going to be the same number in the denominator for both. The thing that changes would be the length of the leg in the numerator. So that's how you do number 1, and that's how you do the rest of these. 7 through 12, you're doing the same exact thing except you're going to use cosine. Cosine is defined as the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So if we want the cosine of angle A, you need the adjacent leg divided by the hypotenuse. So that's what you end up with there. Now when you reduce that, you get 15/17. And as a decimal, you get 0.8824. That's how you do cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. Now when you switch acute angles, and we're talking about angle B, your adjacent is now 16, your hypotenuse is 34. Space is tight. Cosine of B, if you need a separate piece of paper, obviously use a separate piece of paper. Cosine of B is 16 over 34. (16/34) reduces to 8/17. (8/17) is 0.4706. That's how you set up sine and cosine ratios. So similarities again with cosine, obviously your hypotenuse is always going to be in the denominator. It's always going to be the same number. The numerator is a different length for your legs.